Alright, what's going on guys, it's Rest, and in today's video I wanted to go over a brand new build for Amara. If you remember my Knife Drain Mose build and my level 60 melee Amara build, I'm kind of combining these two together to form this build, and it is involved all around using your Phaseslam action skill. Now this build is absolutely insane. It can get you through anything in the game with ease, and that is because of the recent updates that has scaled melee damage to Mayhem 10. Now with the melee damage being scaled, we're not going to be taking full advantage of using our melee. We will be running the Face Puncher for the majority of the time, but the Face Puncher is absolutely going to destroy everything. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for an updated Phaseslam build, so I really hope this build will help you all out. But with that being said, as always, my builds are located in my Discord channel if you'd like to download them. The link for my Discord will be in the description. If you download the build, enjoy the video, if I find it helpful in any way, remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps me out and I truly appreciate it. But with all that being said, let's get right into this crazy build. Alright, before we get into this video, I actually want to show you guys something really quick if you haven't noticed already. So if you've been following my YouTube channel, you know that this is my YouTube logo. I want to give a huge shout out to my close friend Whitney. She actually made this herself, painted it herself, and gave it to me as a gift. Like, honestly, it's one of the best gifts I've received in a while, and I truly appreciate it. Like, it actually looks so good, and like I'm forever grateful. Now, if you're actually curious about some of the other stuff over here, I know some of you guys are. The Psycho Mask right here was actually given to me by two of my friends. Shout out to Sam and Aaron. They went to PAX East in February before the whole world started to go down, and they picked this up for me at one of the Borderlands 3 booths. And not only that, my boy Aaron actually drove 4 hours to me to give me that Psycho Mask, which is insane, and I really thank him so much for that. And I just figured I wanted to give those shout outs to this video because it really does mean a lot to all of you guys I just named, and I love you all for it. Alright, but now getting into the build. As you see, our main gun we're going to be running is the Face Puncher. That is it. You do not need anything else. As we all know, the Face Puncher right now is honestly just an insane weapon. The amount of just versatility it has with some of the artifacts you can use is crazy. I might actually be putting a video together to go in depth with the Face Puncher and talk about why it is so good right now. But essentially, this gun is going to get you through everything in the game, and you don't have to worry about running anything else. If you want to run guns like the EMP5 to get movement speed, or a gun like Execute to apply debuff, or just anything like that, you can, but you don't really need to with the amount of damage this is going to be doing. Now, as you see, this also has a Phaseslam anoint on it, whereas this is going to be a Phaseslam build. So this is going to just bring this gun to just do an insane amount of damage, and it is honestly ridiculous. Now for the shield, I'm going to be running a general initiative. Now this might be coming to a shock to some, but if you don't know what this does, essentially this is the Rough Rider, but honestly better. So you get increased weapon damage and reduces income damage by 13%, and it also grants 50% max health. But as you see, we have 0 capacity, recharge rate, and delay. You have nothing, but you have all those other buffs. Now you see, we also have on accident 50% bonus radiation damage, and also have shock damage and corrosive damage. As you know, those are Amara's main elements, so you can swap out whenever you swap those out. But this is also giving you plus 23% reload speed when your shield's depleted, and it's always depleted, so you're always getting that reload speed, which is really nice, because this is going to be a times 14 Face Puncher, so it consumes 2 ammo per shot, but this is going to let you reload the gun really quick, and having those 14 pellets is going to help proc our artifact down here, which are going to be running a Knife Drain White Elephant, so it gets 75% lifesteal whenever we melee an enemy, and we have a 30% chance to apply Sticky Bomb. This is also giving us 34% more melee damage, 54% more magazine size, and 43% area of effect damage. All those are really good. Obviously, the melee bombs are going to do just stupid amount of damage. Melee damage is going to be insane, and both Knife Drain and White Elephant work with the Face Puncher, so having a times 14 variant of this is going to let you get max health the second you shoot. The General Initiative, you have 31,000 some health. This is going to let you get 31,000 back immediately with one shot because of the times 14 pellets, and also you have 14 chances to apply Sticky Bomb that does an insane amount of damage, and all of this stacks on top of your Phaseslam. So when you have your Phaseslam anoint project, you get more damage, more health back, and it is absolutely disgusting. The synergy is just on another level with this. But then I'm also running a Phasezerker, so we get plus 5 points in Anima. Honestly, the skills you can get for this don't really matter whatsoever. If I had a choice, I would probably try to get plus 5 in Clarity, so you can get a little health regeneration, but you don't really need it because you have the Knife Drain. But 5 points in Anima is going to give you, obviously more status effect duration, but we're not really worried about that. But this is going to 33% more splash damage, 59% more melee damage, and 36% more action skill cooldown rate. Now, if you don't know what the Phase Arc does, essentially when you use your action skill, you're getting max rush stacks, and that's the main reason we're using this, because that is in return going to give us a lot of benefits, including weapon damage and action skill cooldown rate based on the class mod itself right here. You want a lot of cooldown rate with this build. So since we're running the general initiative, we're going to have 0 shields, which means in our guardian rank, we're not going to have topped off right here as our action skill cooldown rate is increased while we have full shields. So we're trying to get as much cooldown rate as we can so we can get that Phaseslam back as fast as possible. Now for the grenade, I'm running an It's Piss. This is just simply to apply a debuff. You're not really doing any grenade damage, so whatever grenade you want to run, and I have all 5 different ASCs with the It's Piss, and this just helps out with bossing or just any tankier enemy. But now I have a cut burst launch pad right here where we get ammo regeneration from a melee enemy and a slam launches barrage rockets. Those rockets also actually give you ammo back, but you don't really have to use that. Since the face puncher does melee damage, you can equip this, just shoot the face puncher, and you have unlimited ammo at all times. So whenever you're going into battles, have the knife train white elephant equipped so you can have constant health regeneration, all your damage is being done. Then when you need ammo, just quickly swap to this, shoot one enemy, because with Tom's 14, you pretty much get max ammo back after one shot, swap back to the knife drain, and go right back into the battle. Now, ammo consumption for this build is not that huge of an issue, so you don't have to worry too much about it. But if you ever have to regen your ammo, that's why I'm going to include the cut burst launch pad. But essentially, the way you want to play this build is constantly shoot people to keep your knife drain proccing, so your insane health bar with your general initiative is going to just keep regenerating, and you're applying sticky bombs everywhere to do an insane amount of damage. It's very simple and it's very effective. In between doing all that, make sure you keep casting your face slams so you can keep your damage bonuses up. And your face slam is also going to be doing a lot of damage, and we're going to talk about that right now as we get into the skills. I'm going to be starting in Brawl because this is the main skill tree we're going to be using. So we're putting 5 points of root to rest, so we get 40% more max health on top of what the general initiative has already given us. So we're getting even more health now, which is absolutely insane. The knife train is going to keep proccing over and over again to keep letting us get max health. The survivability of this build is absolutely insane. But to make that even better, we're using 5 points in help in hand, so we get 40% damage reduction every time we use our action skill. So now when we use our action, we're getting more damage, an insane amount of damage reduction. Plus the general initiative is also giving us a little damage reduction as well. So all that stacked together, plus the knife train constantly healing us, you cannot die. It's absolutely insane. Now I'm putting 4 points in arms deal. So we're getting 16% more splash damage and 35% splash damage reduction. Again, it's pretty good survivability, but the 16% splash damage is also nice, but I'm using this mainly because I'm trying to get down to the bottom, and other stuff doesn't really matter. You maybe could put some stuff in Samsara, because Samsara actually does work with the face puncher. Personal space does not. That's why there's no points personal space. And clarity, you don't really regenerate health since the knife train is going to heal you in one shot. You don't really need to regenerate health at all. So that's kind of why I ruled out Samsara and clarity, and I just went with arms deal to get down to the bottom. But then 1 point you find your center, so we go 100% more melee damage and 75% more melee range after we use our active skill. The melee damage is always, but this is really good with the face puncher. This is giving the face puncher just a solid 100% more damage. It doesn't really need that, but you have it now. Now for the active skill, we're actually going to be running Fracture instead of the generic Phase Slam, because if you don't know, back in one of the older patches, Fracture now actually procs Phase Slam annoyance, and it's on a 28-second cooldown. So that means Fracture is on the same cooldown as Phase Cast, both are 28 seconds. But if you have a Phase Slam annoyant, you're getting 300% damage instead of 250% more damage. That's 50% more damage for the same cooldown rate. Using Fracture is absolutely insane for this build, and Fracture also does a good bit of damage too. And instead of doing it in like a area around you, it's going to do it in a line, and it can absolutely destroy people. Now, as always, if you want to run Phase Slam, you can, or even if you want to run Downfall, that's also good because you can get a lot of action skill damage with that. But for the main, just mobbing at pretty much all times, run Fracture because of the lower cooldown rate, and it's also going to proc your annoyance. But now next, I have 5 points of One with Nature, so we get 25% more max health and 40% elemental damage reduction to whatever our action skill element is. This is really good for the max health. Plus, if you run it Incinerate, which we'll be doing for most of the time depending on what you're getting yourself into, you're going to have 40% resistance to Incinerate, which is really good since we're going to have 0 shields and flesh is going to be our main thing. So we're going to be resistant to that, and constantly healing it with a knife drain and white elephant. Now at 5 points in jab cross, we get 15% more gun damage, 75% max skill damage after melee an enemy. This does again proc the face puncher because the face puncher is melee damage. The gun damage actually does also work with the face puncher, and the action skill damage is obviously going to work with things like fracture. It works with every action skill, and it's what lets you one shot a lot of things with your action skill. Then finally 1 point blitz, so we get another 100% more melee damage. We're not even taking advantage of the other part of the skill where you can launch towards enemies. You really just want that 100% melee damage to buff the face puncher even more. Now for augment, I'm just running revelation just for the explosions. You can kind of run whatever you want to. If you want to run soul sap, you can. You don't really have to because of the knife drain. Health generation is not super important with this build, like I said before. So that is just why I'm running revelation, because the explosions look pretty cool. I'm not even gonna lie. But then I'm putting 5 points to do harm, so we get 5.9% more action skill damage per rush stack, and 5.9% because I'm running 3 points in awakening right here, which is buffing our rush stack effectiveness by 30%. But do harm compared with the Phaseslam, like I said, is going to give you max rush stacks, which is going to let you get an insane amount of action skill damage, and that paired with the jab cross, basically you want to shoot enemy with the face puncher, so you get that insane action skill damage, and then you can use your action skill. You're going to get max rush stacks. That combined together is going to let your Phaseslam absolutely destroy any target when it's matching their health bar. So obviously incendiary with flesh, corrosive with armor, and shock with shields. If you're matching it pretty much all the time, you're going to one shot whatever ad it is. It can do pretty good damage to bosses too, but don't expect to be one shotting bosses with just the action skill. But it can do a solid amount of damage. So those two paired together are a deadly combination. But then I'm putting 3 points of fast hands, so we get 19% more reload speed. Weapon slot speed, motion speed does not matter. I'm really just using this to get down to the bottom, and having that reload speed paired with what our adrenaline initiative is giving us is really good. Reload our times 14 face puncher. Now I'm putting 3 points in transcend, get 38% max and 27% more critical damage after pop action skill. Now you might be wondering why I'm running this, since the face puncher cannot crit, but it can if you're using a white elephant artifact. The bombs actually do crit, and they do benefit from critical hit damage skills and splash damage skills. So this is going to let you boss insanely well. So once you use your axe skill twice, you're going to have ×2 of transcend, which gives you an insane amount of critical hit damage bonus, and actually is going to make the sticky bombs or grenades just pile up on one little crit spot and do a lot of damage. Now since you're using your axe skill, you're also getting your anointment damage obviously, so those two paired together is absolutely insane. Now if we actually take a look at wrath right here, we're getting 20% more gun damage and then 20% more after pop axe skill, so even more on top of what I just said. So it's absolutely insane. And then if that wasn't enough, late bear is going to give you 25% more damage to whatever your axe skill hits. So if your fracture hits an enemy, which most of the time it will because it has a huge radius, this is going to let you 25% more damage to them as well. So if your target is still alive at this point, I honestly don't know what is happening in your game, because it's just absolutely insane the amount of damage you can do with this. I've already went over awakening, but then I'm putting 1 point avatar, so we get 10 more rush stacks, which is going to let us go to 25 rush stacks paired with the Phaseslam. And having 25 rush stacks as soon as we pop our action skill is going to give you just an insane amount of action skill damage. Plus, this is going to let you use action skill twice before cooldown, which in return, like I said, is going to let you have transcend ×2. Plus, you can have your anointment up pretty much double the time, because if you time it out when it goes away, you can just pop it again, and you can have the anointment again. Then plus, on top of all the cooldown rate, I'm going 5 points of restless to get 25% more of that. The Phaseslam is giving you cooldown rate, plus the stat on it is also giving you cooldown rate. So we're trying to get as much cooldown rate as possible, because like I said, we're not going to be having topped off. And this is going to let you get your Phaseslam back very consistently at a quick speed. Now finally getting into the last skill tree. Our class mod is giving us 5 points in anima. This really isn't doing much, but I'm putting 5 points in infusion to get 40% of our damage converted to whatever action element it is. This actually does work with the face puncher. This helps out a lot with bossing. So if you're running against like Grave Ward, obviously run incendiary, or any armor target, you can run corrosive, because we're gonna have access to all three. And like I said before, I have all three adrenaline initiatives with the ASC of the same element as these, so you can swap those out at the same time. But now finally, 1 point illuminated fist gets 75% more melee damage, and our melee damage is now tied to what our axe skill element is. Again, another solid bonus to the face puncher to just get even more damage, and for 1 skill point, this is absolutely insane. So that is going to do it for this build. I really hope you guys enjoy. If you want to run Phaseslam and destroy everything in the game, this is definitely the build for you. Not only is this build going to let you do an insane amount of damage, it's also going to let you have pretty much infinite health because you just don't ever die between the knife drain and face puncher proccing and the adrenaline initiative giving you an insane amount of health. But like I said in the beginning of the video, my builds are located in my Discord channel if you like to download it. The link to the Discord will be in the description. If you download the build, enjoy the video, find it helpful in any way, remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It's not needed, but it really helps me out and I truly appreciate it. Again, I want to give a huge shout out to my friends for the gifts that I've received between the artwork and the mask. I really appreciate it and I seriously cannot thank you enough. But with all that being said, that is going to bring it to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Peace.